without further ado, we will invite Geoff Ramsey up onto the stage from eMarketer.
Oh boy, I'll tell you right off the bat, I have never launched a rocket, and I have no plans to establish a permanent mission to Mars. So let me just get that out of the way. I once had to follow an act by Cirque du Soleil, but this takes the cake. I mean, come on. So we're going to talk about mobile marketing, and so I'm still wrapping my head around going to Mars. I'm thinking about it. So what we're going to do today is a quick roundup of some of the numbers that relate to mobile on the consumer side and the marketer side, kind of a mobile global landscape, if you will. And just to kind of put a point on it, this is where we are right here. It's looking at using your mobile phone as a location device and what kind of marketing opportunities might arise from that. So let's get right into it. If we look at the big picture in terms of the globe, there's 7 billion plus people, 4.4 billion of which have any kind of phone, or 61% of the entire world's population. What's important, of course, is almost 2 billion people with smartphones on the planet. That equates to about 1 out of every 4 people on the planet. But then if you look at as a percent of mobile users on a global basis, it's 42%. That, of course, is on a global scale. If we look at some other markets, of course, the US, UK well ahead. Germany, France, Italy are number 2 there, or kind of in the second tier. That's followed by China, which may not look like a big number at 51%, but that's 500 million people and 1/3 almost of the entire world's smartphone users, so watch out for China. And speaking of 1/3, mobile is now 1/3 of global web traffic and 1/3 of search inquiries. And by the way, if you're trying to keep up with all of this, don't even bother. If you would like the expanded version of this deck, I'll be happy to share it with you later. If we look at media time spent, let's just look at the UK as one example. What you find is that the television still reigns supreme in terms of time spent, at about 3 hours and 12 minutes in front of the telly. That, however, has been eclipsed by digital. If you add up all of the digital devices at 4 hours and 39 minutes, if you dissect that, you find that now mobile devices, smartphones and tablets, are now taking up more time than the desktop and laptop, or than your desktop and laptop. And so mobile is now the number 2 medium after television in terms of time spent in the UK. It's the same in the US, it's number 2, and Canada is the same kind of thing, and we're seeing this across Western Europe. Mobile is becoming the number 2 medium. In the US, consumer attitudes towards location-based marketing efforts, we've seen a number of surveys and studies. I just have a couple of here, and you see about 50% of people say they like or they're tolerant of advertisers using their location to serve up personalized messages. But here's the crux of it. I love this study that just came up from IBM and eConsultancy. Do you feel comfortable about a company having location and time data about you? If it's asked generically of any company, the response is 38% feeling comfortable. And if it's asked specifically about one of your favorite or trusted company, a trusted brand as an example, it shoots up to 72%, and I think that's the core of it. Now let's switch sides from the consumer to the marketer and just take a quick look at how marketers are keeping up with mobile. We'll start with the advertising dollars. What we find is, looking ahead to the year 2016, our forecasters have rolled it up and look at, on a worldwide basis, that mobile by the end of next year will be a little over 50% or over half of all web advertising dollars, or digital ad spending, I should say. And where we see Italy and France is on the lower tier of this. This is just a selected number of countries here. Canada, the UK, and Germany are just under 50%. And then we see China and the United States right up at the top there. So watch for that, and watch for the growth. If you look at total media across all of the entire planet, total media outdoor, television, radio, internet, everything all together. It's looking to grow this year in 2015 at about almost 6%. Digital is growing at about just under 18%, and mobile is growing at 61%. And as you can see, some of the other countries we look at, they're a little below that, but at least 45 to 50% growth across the board. And just to give you a level of how we look at things, for the US number at 51% growth for mobile, what you see is there's a number of other researchers, and they're all kind of in the 50% range, or at least most of them. What's also interesting, I don't show it here, but many of these research numbers actually come to the 2 decimal place. This reminds me of a very famous mathematician and economist who's no longer with us, but it's John von Neumann, who said, there's no sense in being precise when you don't even know what you're talking about. So we always have to have a little bit of humility. So looking also on a global basis, mobile is high in the spending priority list. It's number 2 to social media, according to this study from the Economist Intelligence Unit. And then if we look at the B2B area, if anybody's in that, it is number 3 and 4, mobile apps and location-based mobile tracking in terms of importance. And then if we look at ahead to 2018, mobile will be 2/3 of the digital ad spending pie. So it's growing fast. Desktop will be relegated to 34%. In terms of marketer use of mobile location targeting, based on a couple of studies we've looked at, it's relatively low at about 11 to 18% of marketers doing it. But we do see a lot of data that suggests that real-time location targeting improves campaign performance. And 2/3 of global marketers, according to Salesforce Marketing Cloud, say they plan to increase their location-based mobile tracking. And it was number 4 on their list of investments where they're planning to increase. Don't miss this. In the epic battle for mobile supremacy, there are 2 big players that you need to pay attention to. That is Google and Facebook, which